Good evening, everybody. I'm Stu the Frugal Video Gamer, and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante in times of the fall of the Blessed Arcanian Empire. Last we left off, we had just gotten through his youth. Oh, apparently I was on the tail end of his youth? I thought I had finished it. Oh, the years of your youth have come to an end. The time has come to leave the capital behind and return to your family and new business in your hometown of Anazalt. The years away from home were full of tumult and hardship. Your adult shoulders now bear the burden of your first life-changing decisions. Did you have the freedom to choose this lot for yourself, or was it your destiny all along, ever since your childhood years? All you can do now is follow the path that lies before you. Okay, so yep, we went over all this at the end of the last stream. Peacetime. I will probably only stream for about an hour or so tonight.
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
As the carriage wheels clack a steady rhythm over the cobblestones, you watch the lands of Magra, rendered dry and desolate by ancient magic, sail by the window. You are back in your home province, but you are no longer the boy who left it by this very road 4 years ago. You return a nobleman and a judge. You are continuing the family trade. You have returned to serve at the province's prefecture. Your home, Anazat, is but a few hours away along this dusty road. The carriage is stuffy and hot from the sun, even with the thick blinders shut tight. It is a familiar heat, but you will now need to get used to it again. The heat weighs heavy on you, but it also reminds you of your childhood. You will see your family again soon. To pass the time before you return home, you read your father's most recent letter. Again and again you carefully reread your father's uneasy words, steeling yourself for your first real job and the service that awaits. Dear Stuart, I anxiously await your return, my son. You are the third judge in our bloodline, the pride of our family. Yet these are hard times for a judge. By the Emperor's decree, Archduke Tarquinius Milanidas is no longer the overseer of Magra. The new overseer is the Emperor's own brother, Gaius Tempest. And now our province has been split by an enmity and strife between the Archduke and the overseer. The nobles have split into two factions, and so too have the commoners. Some side with the Archduke, loyal to their liege and determined to follow the traditions of old. Yet many judges and officials are eager to side with Gaius Tempest as the new overseer. Compared to his brother Cornelius, he is less radical and more cautious, but he too seeks to transform the empire and bring the estates to peace. Yet other Arcanians are outraged that Archduke Milanidas has been deposed. One among them is Dorius Aten, High Commander of Magra. Although Aten and his men are sworn to serve Gaius Tempest and follow his orders, it is no secret that his loyalty remains with the Archduke. While Gaius and the Archduke are at odds, there has been no open confrontation. Yet. I fear their patience may one day run dry. As for the judges of the prefecture, every day we deal with more and more litigation between nobles and commoners, yet there are no imperial laws that clearly formalize the rights of all three estates. Wisdom, honor, and conscience are every judge's best advisors these days. You made the choice to serve the law, and you will have your work cut out for you. You will answer directly to Prefect Augustin Elborn, a long-standing friend of the family. He needs strong allies now more than ever. With the support of people such as you and I, the Prefect stands to alter the fate of our province. I am looking forward to seeing you back in Anazalt, Stuart. You put the letter back in your pocket. The walls of Anazalt have finally emerged on the horizon. A challenging job at the prefecture awaits you. But first, you are going home. Oh boy. Oh, that would be interesting. Oh boy. Okay, I am actually going to skip over all the conditions on these. Because I wanted it to be a surprise. Occupation screen. I'm probably going to wind up going with commoners are protected on that one. I'm not sure if I'll go so extreme as to, like, commoners are emboldened, or what was it there? Year 1138. 20 years old. Commoner sees power. The carriage stops. The familiar gate. Your bedroom window. The same one you used to climb out of at night from time to time. The well-tended garden with its imported soil, delightful greenery, and mother's beloved violet irises. The porch you used to jump off of when you were little. You are home. You touch the handle of the front door and halt for a moment. It has been 4 years since you left for Eterna, but it feels like yesterday. The air inside is cool, as usual. Father cannot stand a stuffy room and insists on constantly airing out the house. You hear hurried footsteps coming from the direction of Father's study. Before you have time to take off your traveling cloak, you are crushed in Stefan's strong embrace. Your brother has grown taller and more broad-shouldered. When he detaches himself from you, you notice how harsh his features have become. He looks even more like grandfather now. You've grown so much over the last 4 years, Stuart. Just look at you. You left a new low-born boy, but you've come back Sir Brante. I'm so glad you've joined us in the noble estate. You respond by giving your brother a wrapped gift. Stefan unwraps it carefully. When he sees the sword, a boyish smile appears on his stern face. It's beautiful. What a wonderful gift, brother. Maybe I should start a collection. What do you think? There's no hurry, Stefan. And now let me have a look at the prefecture's new judge. Father approaches you, his hand extended. You shake it and wrap your arms around him. Father looks older. His back is hunched and he squints. There are deep lines around his mouth and silver threads in his dark hair and mustache. Taking a step back, Father examines you from head to toe. What fine posture. You had excellent teachers. I'm proud you made it, son. Mother comes out of the living room, leaning on Nathan's arm. You immediately see signs of the illness you read about in the letters from home. Her back is bent, her hair is gray, a thin web of wrinkles covers her face, and her complexion has lost its color. She can barely stand unassisted. Nathan leads Mother to you. Slowly, very delicately, she embraces you. You press your face into her shoulder, breathing in the nearly forgotten, dearly beloved smell. Mother holds your shoulders and studies your face for a long time. You've been away so long, son. How you've grown. Just a short while ago, I was cradling you in my arms. You look so much like your father when he was your age. Sir Stuart Brante. Nathan approaches you next. Your younger brother is now as tall as you are, and his hair almost reaches his shoulders. But he still has the same lost look in his eye he had when he was a boy. And here's your ne'er-do-well little brother. Hasn't changed a bit or grown an inch after all this time. He couldn't get into the seminary, so he just hangs around. Nathan lets out a heavy sigh and awkwardly puts his arms around you. I'm glad to see you back, Stuart. Home just hasn't been the same without you. You hear a snort behind you. Everyone turns. At the top of the stairs stands Gloria, her arms across her chest. She is dressed as a man, in culottes, a frock coat, and a necktie with a massive pin. The entire family waits for her to greet you. Stefan shakes his head disapprovingly. Your sister descends as if forcing herself to do so. A few steps away from you, Gloria stops and bows. Welcome to your home, Sir Brante. Your sister looks thinner and leaner than she used to. She has dark circles under her eyes, as though she has been sleeping too little or crying too much. Enough pleasantries. Come on in, the table is set. Lydia has prepared a veritable feast for you. For the first time in years, the entire family is together. You can finally spend some time with another member of your family today. Yeah, mother first. She seemed very sickly. At the table, you cautiously ask Mother about her health. Oh, it's nothing, Stuart. I have no complaints. I've just been a little weak lately. It happens at my age. I humbly accept whatever fate the twin gods have chosen for me. After these words, she stops abruptly and lifts up her eyes. Father cuts in. You know, son, you should tell us about your life in the capital. Have you made any useful acquaintances? Our family could do with some good connections right now. You said in one of your letters that you've laid your eyes on the imperial family. What are they like, the Tempests? You have to relate the 4 years you spent in Eterna. Only later that night, while talking to Nathan on the back porch, do you learn more about Mother's health. I'll be frank with you. Mother isn't doing so well. Gloria and I do our best not to leave her alone. You can ask her questions, but her answers often don't make sense. And she keeps falling silent in the middle of a conversation like she did today. Her illness is consuming her. You know, if Mother passes, she may not be reborn. I dread to think what will become of Father then, and of Gloria. Gloria's had a hard time of it lately, too. Stephanus treated her like dirt for the last year. I think he plans to drive her out of the house so her origins won't taint the Brante name anymore. Stefan Lindley cares about one thing now, getting our family ennobled by the sword. So for him, Gloria is just an obstacle between him and his goal. You spend quite some time in silence, gazing at the radiant stripe of this shining pillar as it grows more and more luminous against the darkening sky. The Brante family is about to face some challenging times. Your service as a judge begins today. You get dressed early in the morning, donning a brand new jacket with a cravat and hat. It's an immaculate look, if you dare say so yourself. You head to the prefecture with Father. The prefecture moved recently. It now occupies a massive new building of white sandstone in the very center of Anazalt. A stone statue looms above it, the sword of the younger twin, the divine law that directs worldly judgment. All legal disputes in the province are to be resolved here. You and Father walk up the marble stairs past the commoners, merchants, and lesser nobles, all petitioners and litigants, huddled by the pillars. Well now, my son, here you shall begin your service to the Empire, in the midst of the great struggle I told you. Oh, in the midst of the great struggle I told you about. If you don't mind a little advice, you will serve under Sir Elborn. Follow my example and stay close to your superior. He is a human of great worth, and practically your relative. You walk past the courtroom and up to the second floor, where judges work in their offices and receive petitioners. The corridors are many and narrow, filled with the smell of old papers and the sounds of mumbling voices and secretaries and gendarmes running to and fro. Father guides you down a corridor that ends with the door to Sir Elborn's office. Stuart, it is time for you to stand before the prefect. Remember the friendship between our families. You knock and enter. The spacious oak-paneled office is not without decoration, yet its adornments are tasteful and elegant rather than garish. The flag of Magra bearing the silver tree hangs on the wall. Behind an imposing desk sits Baron Augustin Elborn, surrounded by papers. His face wears a focused expression you recall from his visits in the past, although it has more wrinkles than you remember. He looks up and his face comes to life. He rises and extends a hand to you. Why, young Stuart Brante! What a pleasure it is to see you again. I see your years at the capital have turned you into a stately young man. I was told you proved yourself quite capable at the college. The city of Anazalt needs worthy judges who know their craft now more than ever. Allow me to welcome you into the service for the good of the Empire. I'm sure you already know the basics of judicial work. Serving in the prefecture, however, takes more than finding your way through our laws. Although they are quite labyrinthine and contradictory, there's no denying that. Anywhere you look in our province, you will see friction between the estates. Old noble blood, new nobles, rich commoners, poor commoners, they all have their legal disputes. And we judges work here to make sure this pot never boils over. If we are too eager to follow the traditions of old and bow to noble privilege, the common estate will grow desperate and lose all hope for freedom. But if we openly side with the commoners, the nobles' ire will be quick to find us. And so, Judge Brante, I ask you to be wary and wise. Peace hangs by a thread in this province. Carefully consider every decision you make at court before rendering your verdict. But first, you need to get accustomed to your new position. You shall begin at once. The prefecture has already assigned you a number of legal proceedings to review and judge. The office is ready and waiting for you, Sir Brante. The instructions are over. The work begins. You recognize your new office by the brass plate on the door reading Sir Stuart Brante, Judge. You find it rather cramped on the inside, yet still reasonably comfortable. The sturdy desk has all the stationery you need. Behind the desk is a large chair of carved wood, and in front of it are several smaller chairs for petitioners. Heavy curtains hang over the window. What are the opponents for the morning light trying to shine through? There are papers on the desk already, including instructions, orders, rulings, and all sorts of other prefecture paperwork. You're about to begin when you hear a sudden knock on the door. The source of the disturbance turns out to be a stout, smartly dressed nobleman. He greets you with an elegant bow you would not have expected from such a sizable individual. Sir Brante, congratulations on your first day of service. Allow me to introduce myself, Judge Carlo Falkraven, a humble servant of the law like yourself. It is my hope that we will become fast friends. And now, if I may, a word of warning to help your work progress smoothly as a token of our future friendship. I'm aware that Sir Elborn is your immediate superior. As a loyal servant of the Empire, you will, of course, take his word as your guide. Yet there is no reason to neglect all the other judges at the prefecture, all of whom are noble men of great worth. Their guidance will almost certainly aid you as a judge. It will be my pleasure, Sir Brante, to facilitate your introduction to the noble judges of the prefecture as soon as possible. I see glory in your future service to the Empire, yet it certainly cannot hurt to receive reassurance and support when you might need it most. I shall not detain you any longer, but if you wish to make some valuable connections, my office is right across from your own. Another elegant bow from Judge Falkraven, and the door closes. You are alone at your desk once again. The scorching sun is rising over the province behind the window. Today is an important day. The day when you are to take your first steps in your new profession. What will you focus on today? Yeah, I'll go with the father at first. He can give me a better lay of the land than most. And especially Falkraven. For a while, you busy yourself with paperwork and upcoming cases. Until you remember that Father's office is right next to yours. You still have mastered the intricacies of imperial law at school. Perhaps you could benefit from his experience and guidance now. You shift the case folders aside and walk out of your office. Your father is in his office, standing at the window with a deeply pensive look. The subject of his thought is in his hand, a letter bearing the Archduke's seal. He turns around and pats you on the shoulder, then asks about your meeting with Sir Elborn. A few moments later, you ask him to give you some advice and fill you in on the situation of the prefecture. My son, you'd best be wary for now. Sir Elborn will be watching you closely, but this is certainly understandable. The prefect's views have made his position rather tenuous. Only a handful of judges of the prefecture have sided with him fully, and I am one of them. Yet even I would not dare draw the ire of those above us and risk our family's welfare. When a noble and a commoner clash in the courtroom these days, the court almost always sides with the noble, no matter the circumstances. Even if the commoner is wealthy, the courts are not on his side. The judges rely upon the rule of law if, and only if, both parties hail from the common estate. What happens if they both hail from the noble estate? Sir Elborn aims to change this, little by little. He is eager to ensure that imperial law applies to all three estates in equal measure. But there are many who oppose him, from Archduke Melanidas and his loyal Commander Alton to our own fellow judges. Right now, Sir Elborn enjoys the backing of Gaius Tempest, but the Imperial Overseer may abandon him at any moment. So here's my word of advice to you. Be careful. Help Sir Elborn bring the nobles under Imperial law, but do not draw the ire of the other judges. Remember, more than just your career depends upon your verdicts. Even a single careless judgment may be enough to bring our family into disfavor. It was wise of you to ask for my advice before rendering verdicts on your own. I'm sure you will be able to tackle any issue you might encounter. After all, we have prepared you for this ever since you were a child. Your discussion continues. Father shares his own experience of carefully siding with the common estate whenever possible, while properly respecting the privileges of the nobility. Even a partial victory in such a legal dispute comes as a great surprise to any commoner. Soon the vermilion rays of the setting sun fill Father's office. Your workday has come to an end. As you walk through the corridors with Father, you see the other judges watching you closely. There is a knowing look about them. Sir Falkraven, your new acquaintance, is one of those judges. Sir Brante Sr., Sir Brante Jr., good evening to you. It is a joy to see a son following in his father's footsteps, both in and out of the courtroom, I assume. I still believe you would do well to take me up on my offer. A grown man needn't cling to his father's coattails, although the decision is yours, of course. Falkraven follows this with a courteous farewell and a nod. Father nods to him reservedly, keeping his emotions perfectly in check. Your first day at the prefecture is ended. A carriage is waiting outside to take you both back home. Oh boy. Okay. Here's hoping I can pull that off. It's going to be interesting trying to thread the needle. Begin service of the prefecture. You come back home after a short stroll through the city. As soon as you set foot in the house, you are greeted by Stefan, who invites you to have a talk in Father's office. When you enter the room, Father has a heap of letters in front of him and is signing them one after another. Son, Stefan and I must discuss an important matter with you. While you were in the capital, our family formally petitioned the Overseer to grant us the nobility of the sword. We have 3 generations of noble blood already. We have the right to make our nobility hereditary. Your grandfather took the first steps towards nobility of the sword as soon as Stefan was born, and now we are on the brink of becoming the El Brantes. This Overseer Gaius Tempest and the nobles of the province deem us worthy, we will receive a hereditary title. All nobles of the Brante family will remain noble forever, as will their descendants. Father and I do our utmost to maintain the family's position, but our goal can be reached only if our reputation remains unblemished in the eyes of high society. The nobility is watching our every step. Father lays a hand on your shoulder. Now this is your cause too. The future of our family depends on it. We need an estimable reputation and wealth. Everyone bearing the name of Brante affects it. Remember that with every action you take, Stuart. You will have to appear before Anazot High Society. We're going to host a reception for the nobility at our home soon. You must uphold the honor of our family, brother. You'll relay the news from eternity to our guests and present yourself in a favorable light. With Stefan at the helm, the entire family spends a full week preparing for the majestic reception. The house is flooded with decorations and new tableware, delicacies are cooking in the kitchen round the clock, and the napkins now bear an embroidered oak branch and chains, the Brante family crest. Gloria is the only one to neglect the common cause. Were it up to me, I wouldn't be seen at this hypocritical gathering. I don't want to let Sir Robert down. He's the only reason I plan to stay for the event. The evening of the reception has come. Dignified conversations and the clinking of glasses fill the house. Among your guests are many high-born, powerful people. Your father and Stefan dance from guest to guest, making sure no one is overlooked. Young Stuart, how splendid to see you. So what was your time in the capital like? You exchange pleasantries with a high-placed relative. Meanwhile, Gloria and Mother spend the evening on a settee by the wall without drawing any attention. Neither your father nor your elder brother introduce them to the noble guests. Still, one of the guests, a young nobleman with a sword named Jose El Pelletier, keeps staring at Gloria in fascination. Your sister averts her eyes, bemused. Lady Gloria, you are a true gem of the evening. You look so marvelously daring. I haven't seen your like even in the capital. When you walk past Gloria, you hear her hurried whisper. Stuart, please talk to me. The Sir El Pelletier keeps following me. I feel uneasy. What does he want from me? I'm just a lowly commoner. Come with me to the other side of the room, although I'll probably still stand out among all the refined nobles. Look, it's Durante the painter. I wonder what's brought him so far from the capital. It would be fabulous if he could paint our family portrait. We should all be on canvas together. We're one big happy family after all. Wine glass in hand, you cast a look around the crowded room. It is time to choose how you will spend your evening. Oh yeah, I didn't quite get it. I'll do the family portrait because, Giving it from a famous artist should raise our family standing, after all, while also subtly reinforcing that they are members. The artist is scrutinizing the portrait of your grandfather on the wall of the sitting room. You will always remember grandfather like this. His heavy, searching look, his hawkish features, his imposing body, and the cane he kept in his hands at all times. As if by pure chance, you passed by Durante and mentioned that the portrait was painted by a local artist. But surely Sir Durante's skill must be incomparably greater. Would he be interested in painting a group portrait of the entire Brante family? At first, Durante politely declines. He must head back to the capital soon, and he has no time to spare for painting. But you remonstrate that you will pay any price, and his work will be seen by the highest society of Anazat. Durante eventually succumbs to your persuasion. You spend the night negotiating with the painter. A proper portrait will take a fair amount of time to paint, and Durante's prices are high. Convincing your family turns out to be just as challenging. Gloria will not pose in a dress or put her hair in a bun. Nathan almost has to be forced to cut his hair. Stefan insists that he must be drawn to the right of his father, with Gloria behind them. Eventually, you succeed in helping your family reach a consensus. The portrait is perfect. Your parents look dignified hand in hand. You in your best attire are to the left of them. Gloria brings some life to the painting with her unruly hair and daring outfit. Even Nathan seems to belong there. The portrait is proudly displayed above this fireplace in the sitting room. No one else in Magra has a portrait of Durante himself. This will emphasize our position. For once, Gloria agrees with her older brother. At least on this canvas, we're all one family, whatever our estates may be. Awesome. So yeah, I can't keep spending money willy-nilly, but it was worth it to be able to... Holy shit. Seriously, I managed to get to the full max? Okay, so... awesome. I'm glad I managed to get a 10 in that one. The Brante home has been uneasy for several months now. With father traveling all over the province for his judicial duties, the animosity between Stefan and Gloria has grown into a full-blown feud. Your elder brother tries to use his position as heir to keep his sister in check and make her behave in accordance with her estate. Gloria repudiates his authority. Their fights rock the house on a daily basis. Eventually, after returning from his latest trip, father gathers Stefan, Gloria, Nathan, and you in his office. His sour look portends a difficult conversation. Stefan gazes at father defiantly. Gloria is poised to lash out and run away. Nathan quietly keeps to the side. Children. For a long time now, our family has been striving to become nobles of the sword. Every noble family of the Brante family will gain a hereditary title. This is your grandfather's dying wish. Gloria sighs loudly. Then why am I here, Sir Robert? She's right. This is a Brante matter. Wait until I finish, Stefan. I am still the head of this household. If you are truly so concerned about honor, show your father some respect. It can't be helped. Not all of us are noble. But now we must be united as never before. We must work together to protect the reputation and wealth of this family. But you, Stefan, perpetually humiliate Gloria. Father, all I'm trying to do is put her in her place. You know perfectly well the consequences of any attention Gloria might attract. Every step is being observed. The nobles will make pariahs of our family for all eternity if they remember Gloria's filthy origins, and your reckless marriage to Lydia. Father turns red in the face, but with considerable effort, he remains composed. That is so. Our grandfather did everything in his power to remedy your mistakes. Please, Father, don't repeat them. Gloria speaks up. I'm just trying to live, Sir Robert. But Stefan wants to lock me in a cage so nobody will ever lay eyes on me. That's not it at all. You are low-born, but you don't live by your lot. You do whatever you fancy. You're constantly grumbling about the order of things. Did you know, Father, that she defies all prohibitions by continuing to write poetry? As far as you're concerned, anyone who contradicts you is an insurgent. When will you grasp the idea that you may not argue with a nobleman? I am the heir of this family, and my word is your law. Purple with rage, Father slams his fist on the table. It is rare to see him so furious. Both your elder brother and sister instantly fall silent. Frightened, Nathan shrinks into a corner. Hold your tongues, both of you. Let Stuart speak. He has witnessed your quarrels. You should know best which of you is in the right. Oh, damn it. Oh, damn it. I'm gonna defend Gloria. Because in the household, at least you can give her respect. You turn to Stefan abruptly and point your finger at him. It's no wonder Gloria fights back so fiercely. Stefan torments and chastises her incessantly. If your elder brother stops mothering every impulse Gloria has, she won't resist so viciously. You're a family after all, not a pack of wild animals where the strong dominate the weak. Are you blaming me for her escapades, Stuart? Me, who selflessly labors to preserve our family name. This is outrageous. Father, will you really heed to his advice? Purple with rage, Stefan clenches his fists. Father rises from his seat, eyeing his eldest son gloomily. Stuart is right, Stefan. You have overstepped your bounds. I took Gloria into my house, so you, my son, must respect her and be considerate of her. Her origins do not give you right to put such pressure on your sister. Stefan rushes out of the office and slams the door behind him. Gloria cannot conceal her joy upon hearing you and Father chastise Stephen. Stefan. The little tyrant! That'll teach him that what goes around comes around. That believes me be from now on. Soon rumors start circulating in unresolved high society suggesting that you are orchestrating a plot against Stefan, the legitimate heir of the family. It is not so hard to guess who started these rumors. Now the entire city knows that there is trouble in the Brante household. Damn it. Gotta keep it from getting zero. And Stefan, you just fucked the family. It is the morning of a very sultry day, and you are back at the office. You are beginning to get used to the duties of your new profession. Father visits you on the job now and then to see your progress and provide advice, but by now he is confident you can handle the work on your own. Today is your first case, assigned by the prefect himself. From the comfort of your chair, you go through the facts and circumstances of the case. The matter seems simple at first. Seeking some desperately needed financial gain, a noble from the less than wealthy El Alvila family rented out a sizable portion of his estate to a well-off commoner by the name of Basil Young. All the rent payments are in order, and there is plenty of time left before the lease is set to expire. But the commoner built a large dye works on the estate, and the El Alvila suddenly filed a case with the prefecture to evict him. The rental agreement specifically states that the commoner Young has the right to construct any building on the land. The noble landowner, however, thinks he has the final say on any construction since the land belongs to him. Basil Young, on the other hand, has refused to vacate the rented land since the term of the agreement has now expired. Both parties are to appear at the prefecture to hear your decision. The litigant, Sir El Alvila, enters first. He is an aging noble who dresses far too colorfully for his years. He walks into your office with confidence and sits in front of you. The next man to enter is Basil Young, a heavy-set man with a thick beard, clothed in an old jacket and clutching a hat. He stands by your desk and bows to you. Sir El Alvila does not hesitate to speak first. Your Honor, I demand you drive the commoner Young from my land. His dye works is a noisy, nasty, ugly building, and I refuse to have it on my property. My family already had to endure their warehouses and their filthy workers right by our own estate, but this is simply beyond the pale. Either the court says the dye works must be demolished, or I, Gustav El Alvila, will do it myself. You ask Sir El Alvila to compose himself and tell the commoner to give his statement. Basil Young gives his account, speaking in a deep, gruff bass. Your Honor, it cost me all my money to build the dye works. The contract says it clear. I got the right to build anything on the land during my rental period, and Sir El Alvila didn't say a word at first. But now he up and demands we demolish it. My family will be ruined. That's not going to happen, I say. Sir El Alvila screams at him in return, outraged by what he calls his cunning trickery. The bearded Basil Young disagrees again and again, his pudgy figure pointing at the clause in the agreement. It is noon already. The sun is so hot even the air itself seems to melt away. This is your first case ever. It is time to deliver a verdict. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Oh, I don't like any of these options. Ugh. Oh, yeah, now we're getting to the brass tacks of this story, aren't we? Okay. Problem is, I might disgrace the family with that one. Will it be retroactive is the problem. Yeah, no. I've got to protect the guy. He's done nothing wrong. He's still paying the rent to the landlord. He'll be able to make it back, and... oh, god damn, this is a rough one. Oh, this is gonna hurt. By the law, you deliver your verdict. As the rental agreement clearly states, Basil Young has the right to use the aforementioned lands belonging to the Avila family until the year 1150 and construct any buildings on the aforementioned lands. Basil Young's use of the land is not in violation of the agreement, and therefore he must not be evicted and the dye works will remain. Any attempt to drive him off or demolish the building will constitute a breach of law. How dare you! This is my own land, and I can do whatever I want with it. It is my right. I can rent it out, and I can take it back just the same. And your puny little peepers mean nothing to me. If you refuse to resolve this peacefully, Your Honor, why, I'll just put the damn dye works to the torch. You have a response to that. If Young's property should come to harm through El Avila's actions, the noble will provide recompense for all damages and pay a fine to the Emperor. The rule of the Empire is the Emperor's rule. Nobles and commoners alike must obey the law in equal measure. Your words are tactful but unyielding. The nobleman has no chance. His face pale with rage, Sir El Avila spits out a goodbye through clenched teeth and walks away. Thank you so much for your just verdict, Sir Brante. I never even hoped you would protect my rights after all. Now the dye works is going to hit it big. The other judges soon learn of your verdict. With your very first case, you have caused quite a stir at the prefecture. Most judges would not even have deigned to hear the commoner's statement. Yet you defied noble privilege and enforced a lawful agreement against a nobleman. An ill omen for the other nobles. Oh boy. Oh boy. I've got to strike a very careful balancing act if I don't want to. Chutes and ladders. Career less than or equal to 2. Well, this is gonna hurt. News of your latest actions spreads rapidly through Cross Anazot. You have made many enemies during your year as a judge, and now is their chance to strike. Your career is hanging by a thread. You have to fight off accusations, denouncements, and slander just to retain your position. A quiet knock at the door interrupts your musing. The imposing figure of Judge Carlo Falkgraben solemnly floats into your office. We hardly ever see each other these days, Brante. I've decided to pay you a visit. With the most cordial of intentions, of course. I've been hearing everywhere that things are not going well for you. So I ask myself the question, how could a man of your talents quarrel with almost all of Anazot high society? I'm sure you're simply misguided, but worry not. I will show you the way. Many judges see you as a threat. They think that your daring rulings are putting the entire prefecture in danger. Let's examine your latest case, for instance. Its outcome enriched all the nobility of the city. But I know you aren't what they say you are. The others need to see how much you care for your colleagues in our institution. Take my advice toward it. Don't forget that it is a judge's job to maintain law and order among the estates, not destroy it. Admit your error and reconsider at least some of your past decisions in favor of the nobility. Do this, and I assure you, society will come to see you as a respectable nobleman and wise judge once again. Do not emulate our prefect. You know that I hold Elborn in the highest esteem, but between you and me, he's on the edge of a precipice, and he's dragging you down with him. Promise me you'll think about what I've said, Brante. I'm only concerned about your well-being. I care about the career of a promising judge like you. Falkgraben takes a bow and leaves as silently as he came. Yeah, I kind of figured that wouldn't be. Oh boy. This is what has turned high society against you. Your enemy's schemes are preventing you from continuing your work. Yeah, gotta run to Dad. Fuck. You walk swiftly to your father's office. No matter what happens, he will always come to your aid. The conversation begins awkwardly. You tell him about your latest ruling, the enemies you have made, and the pressure from Fockraven and those like him. Will he help you out of your difficulty? Having carefully listened to your account, Father frowns. You are in dire straits indeed. You know that I'll always be on your side, but now you've gone too far. It's my fault too, Stuart. It's time we got you out of this mess. Our family has still managed to build a reputation over the past few years. I'll arrange meetings with some important noblemen and plead your case. Like predatory beasts, they'll smell our vulnerability. As soon as you ask for a favor, you become not only a debtor, but also a prospective victim. We have no choice. Otherwise, you will lose your position as judge. But promise me, son, that from now on you will be more cautious and refrain from making more enemies for our family. Yep. Fuck. New condition. I have been judged for a year, and I've already fucked up the family. Oh, okay. Unity is 10. Helpful. Your work for the day is finally done. You hurry to the family home where peace and tranquility dwell again at last. Still, you have grown used to the idea that this peace could be disturbed at any moment. As you enter, Father walks down the stairs to greet you. He smiles happily and warmly. Stuart, my dear son, you're spending so much time at work. Look, you can barely stand. You need some rest. Please, stay at home with us for a while. Surely your work can wait. You've earned yourself a moment of respite. You consider his words for a moment and agree. Overjoyed, Father takes your hand and leads you into the sitting room. You spend several days resting in the family at home where your troubles are distant and your family is close. They tell you their news and you carefully share yours. You spend the evenings together on the porch, just like in the good old days. Listening to Father's stories of your family's history, sharing laughter over memories of childhood. It is late now. Cicadas buzz quietly in the garden. The windows of the bedrooms glow with a warm light. You recline in a wicker chair with a glass of good wine. There is no place like home. Damn. That's helpful. Now, what about the ruined family? Come on, where's that big fat goose egg? Oh. Two powerful lords have been struggling for power in Magra for over 2 years now. The new overseer of the province, Gaius Tempest, cannot seem to rein in the obstinate spirit of Archduke Tarquinius Melanides. Unwilling to accept that he is no longer the overseer of Magra, the Archduke still stubbornly continues to assert his right to rule the province. Most of the migrant gentry, who swore allegiance to him generations ago, remain loyal even now. Gaius Tempest has publicly demanded that the Archduke recognize the Overseer's rule as legitimate. I am the voice and will of the Emperor Uther II in the province of Magra. All lands, deeds, and titles notwithstanding, Archduke Melanides must obey his sovereign's will and heed his decree. I hereby extend to the Archduke an offer of peace. Should the Archduke cease his insubordination, his lands, deeds, and titles shall remain his own. The Archduke's response to the Overseer was openly defiant. Since the days of yore, the land of Magra has belonged to the Melanides dynasty. We are part of the Empire, and we are the Emperor's loyal servants. However, our dynasty will not stand for such intrusion upon our lawful rights and privileges. Never before has an Archduke been stripped of his right to represent the Emperor's rule in his own province. So do not forget, Sir Overseer, that the highest noble families of Magra have sworn fealty to me alone. Neither the Archduke nor Overseer will relent, but both are too powerful to be readily disposed of. The bad blood between the Archnians has festered for too long, and the common people have begun to pay the price for their strife. Stripped of the Overseer's tax privileges, the Archduke Melanides has decided to impose his own levy upon the citizens and villages of Magra. The commoners are now forced to pay taxes twice, first to the Overseer and then to the Archduke. This double burden is too much for the common people of Magra to bear. Many have refused the second tax outright as a lawless measure, but the Imperial Legion, led by young Darius Otten, is ruthless. Eagerly and without mercy, the Legion soldiers collect the Archduke's due in cities and villages alike. Oh boy. A gift for the family. The last year has been an ordeal for your family. The pains taken to be ennobled by the sword, the close attention of the Sadie aristocracy, the squabbles between Stefan and Gloria. Tonight, your preoccupied father has gathered the entire family around a table in the backyard. The sun is almost set, and there is a soft breeze. But instead of a meal in the open air, you are going to attend a family meeting. In the middle of the table, you see an open gilded box. It is full of jewels. Archduke Melanidas himself has bestowed this gift upon us. It's a surprise indeed. I thought you all had the right to know. Father unfolds a letter lying beside the box. Sir Robert Brante, I bestow this precious box upon you and your family as a symbol of the care with which I treat the people of my province. Pray accept this gift, and remember with whom the loyalty of the true nobles of Magra lies. Archduke of Magra, Tarquinius of the Melanidas. The family stares in amazement at the jewels sparkling in the last rays of sunshine. It's worth quite a fortune, but the Archduke is fully aware that I'm at the side of Prefect Elborn and Overseer Gaius Tempest. Could we really expect our loyalty to be bought so brazenly? On the other hand, the Archduke is not demanding anything of us, and our family has borne a lot of expenses recently. Father, no one is forcing you to side with Melanidas. Who are we in comparison with the Archduke anyway? We must not anger him by refusing this gift. The jewels are certainly welcome. They are worthy of being shared with the best families of Anazot. They will pave our way to the nobility of the sword. Mother shakes her head glumly. Oh, Robert, I have a feeling this gift bodes ill. It may be an impertinence on my part, but I do not want our family to be indebted to the Archduke. Certainly not. Accepting gifts from Melanidas? He's infamous for impressing the commoners and robbing villages blind with his taxes. This isn't your decision, Gloria. It's a matter of our family's honor and reputation. Please don't start bickering again. Let Stuart say what he thinks we should do with this gift. You are the center of attention now. Your vote will be the deciding factor. There we go. You accept the jewels from the Archduke. Well, oh shit. Oh boy. House of Brante, there we go. Okay, wealth we're moderate means at this point. Oop, there we go. On the plus. Damn it. I might have to go with this one just to restore our family name. And on the plus side, it also means that we aren't accepting the jewels for monetary gain. Oh, I'm torn on this one. Jesus, the choices are coming hard and heavy now. To be ennobled by the sword. Damn it. You agree with Stefan. A gift from the Archduke is not to be refused. It would be better to use it for a more important goal, obtaining the nobility of the sword. You and Stefan will determine when, how, and to whom the gifts will be given. I'm inclined towards the same solution. Let it be so. I'll send a note to the Archduke expressing our humblest gratitude, but I'll point out that I don't mean to change sides. I still serve my prefect and my overseer. Be careful, Father. The Melanidas house is not to be trifled with, but the Archduke will have nothing to reproach you with. Stuart and I will put the jewels to good use. You and Stefan spend the next couple of weeks arranging meetings and attending receptions and feasts. You discover that you are on par with your brother in your understanding of the nobility of Anazat, including their relations and their quirks. The generous gifts and the refined manners your brother and you display before the aristocrats allow your family to rise in their esteem. There is but one disadvantage. You do not have a single coin tucked away in the family treasury. Okay. Okay, so we didn't actually lose any money, so we're just modest inmates. You have just completed your first year of service at the prefecture. Several days after your second year begins, there is a knock at the door. You look up from your paperwork and tell the visitor to come in. Sir Elborn's secretary slips inside quietly. The prefect has an important matter to discuss with you in his office. Augustin Elborn looks weary and aged, but he greets you with his usual characteristic warmth. You take a seat in the comfortable chair across from him. Sir Elborn asks his secretary to pour you and him some wine. Sir Brante, good to see you. I hope the judge's trade is coming easily to you now. I must admit I've been watching your first cases rather closely. You have already had to resolve a rather difficult land dispute between a commoner and a noble. We will see even more litigation of this kind in our province in the future. Now it's time for you to answer an important question. In this great dispute between the two estates, where will you stand as judge? Take a look around you. Life in the Empire as we know it is changing. It is our duty as nobles and judges to make peace between all the estates on the basis of the law. However, the prefecture faces a great hindrance in its pursuit of this goal. Many nobles are still determined to abide only by the traditions of old, especially the Arcnians. For those nobles, the only law above them is the Court of Honor, where noble ranks and duels decide everything. They reject the jurisdiction of the prefecture and outright defy the newer laws and regulations of the Empire. This is to say nothing of what happens when an Arcnian has a dispute with a human commoner. Some Arcnians would rather cut a human down then and there than waste time on what they see as pointless litigation, even though the law says that all the Emperor's subjects have the right to a fair and just trial. One of the most flagrant violators of the law is Dorius Otten, the commander of our province's military. You've encountered him before, haven't you? That Arcnian noble is a notorious duelist. Anyone who crosses his path risks insulting his honor. His sword has ended the lives of many human nobles. Not to mention all the commoners who have been unlucky enough to run afoul of him when he was bored. Surely you realize, Brante, that we're the only ones who can protect those people. The lowborn lot forbids a commoner to arm himself, and even those who would rather defy their lot have no chance against Dorius Otten, one of the most skilled Arcnian swordmasters. Otten cannot be allowed to commit murder with impunity. We have to stop him and all the other who act as he does. Imperial law must prevail over their barbarous traditions. But as of now, I have no authority to put Otten on trial. Our province still abides by the old traditions, and humans are powerless against the dynastic power of the Arcnian aristocracy. Putting an Arcnian on trial for his crimes would be unthinkable at best. We have to work gradually to change this, Brante. I need you as an ally. What we have to do is strengthen the power of imperial law in Magra so that eventually everyone will respect the law, from humble beggars to highborn Arcnians. We must show everyone that the law is not a noble instrument of oppression against the common folk. Like the divine law, imperial law must stand above all, with no regard for birth, rank, or title. This is why I have decided to address you today, Steward Brante. Side with the law. Side with your father and myself. Side with justice in every case always, no matter who stands trial before you, be they lowly commoner or noble elite. With enough precedence, we will put an end to highborn tyranny and ensure that the law is respected throughout the province. But I must warn you, even here at the prefecture, I am not all-powerful. Many judges oppose my point of view, not openly, at least not yet, but I am certain they will work against us in the shadows. Now, Brante, what is your answer? Are you ready to side with me and change our province for the better? Are you ready to support me against the high-handed gentry and defend the common folk, the likes of Dorius Otten? Yep, I've already done it. Will this hurt my career at the moment? You nod energetically, determined to support Elborn and bring nobles and Arcnians under the rule of imperial law. You realize the risks, but for the future of the Empire and its subjects, you are willing to face them. You seal the promise with a handshake. The prefect leans back in his big chair and points at the glasses full of wine. I never doubted you, Brante. With your potential and youthful zeal, nothing will stop us. And now a toast to the triumph of law in Magra. glasses clink melodically. The prefect takes a sip, then puts the glass down. Oh, god damn it. Did he just get poisoned? Okay, apparently not. Remember to be cautious. Between the powerful nobles and many other judges of the prefecture, there will be no shortage of enemies on this path. There will be times when I will be unable to help you. My own position is too unstable as it is, so please do not draw too much of their ire. Letting their wrath reach you is the last thing I want. Last but not least, we mustn't be hasty. If we move too fast and enforce the law against the nobles too soon, they might take up their swords as they have before. We have to prevent an uprising and avert bloodshed. At all times be just, but also wise and alert. I'm glad to see you on the side of justice. I'm counting on you, and you can count on me in return, Stuart Brante. May luck be with you in service to the Empire. You return to your office, your desk covered with endless paperwork as always. At first glance, nothing has changed. But now you realize the great and important cause working quietly behind your daily grind. Deep in thought, you sit at the desk once again. What fate awaits you in service to this cause? Yep, this is going to be an interesting one. I've got to make sure not to backstab the guy. Night is falling over Anazot. The stifling heat gives way to an eagerly anticipated freshness. After a day at work, you stroll home at a leisurely pace. You turn down a side street that you have known since you were a little boy. It is as if your legs are acting of their own accord, bringing you to the place of your childhood play. The remnants of the wooden fort. So much has changed since the days when you used to play here with your little friends. Engrossed in your memories, at first you fail to notice that you are not alone here. A tall figure in the uniform of a Legion officer approaches you. You see unruly brown hair and a twinkle in his eye. It is Thomas. Now that's a surprise. Hi, Brante. Fancy running into you at the moment I'm back in town. Your childhood friend puts his arms around you. I remember telling you got transferred here recently. We're under command of the Magra Legion now. I'm keeping the peace and maintaining order in my very own province. Well, why don't we catch up? Let me buy you dinner. We'll have a little chat, remember the old days? Thomas cuts himself short. You suddenly notice how much older he looks. His face has become sharper and rougher, and his eyes are filled with exhaustion rather than the usual mischievous sparkle. I should warn you though, Stuart. I ain't the best company nowadays. I managed to get myself some powerful enemies already. I'm a friend who could taint your good name, so I'd rather you not be seen with me. So if you'd rather not be seen with me, well, I understand. The smile on his face starts to fade. Yeah, no. We're both rabble-rousers. You give Thomas your hand. You shake hands firmly. So I haven't forgotten your old friend, Brante. That's the way it ought to be. Well, come on then. You go to a tavern, reminiscing about your childhood antics on these very streets along the way. You choose a table in the far corner of the tavern. Thomas orders a bottle of good wine and some food. Talk about your latest case, about your first years back in Anazot. You share your family news, your quest to become nobles of the sword, quarrels between your elder brother and sister, your mother's health. Thomas nods with concern. Sounds like you've had some tough times. Your family has always been different. Mine, on the other hand, is the same as it ever was. My pa's always in the workshop, my ma's always doing chores. Look at me. I came home a service-class nobleman, although it doesn't bring me much joy anymore. Thomas is suddenly grim. You ask your old friend to share his troubles with you. He quickly glances around the room and lowers his voice. Well, I'm a captain of the Magran Legion now. And who's our commander? His Excellency Dorius Ott. That's right, I serve under the very same Archnean whose toes I stepped on back in Eterna. You better believe he remembers me. I'm afraid things are going to end real bad. Hey, I'll figure it out somehow. Don't trouble yourself over it. Apart from that, well, it's the usual service. We impose order in uppity towns and villages, protect the province, that sort of thing. And we run drills all day long, obviously. If only you knew how sick I am of them barracks, Stuart. Thought about starting a family. My mama keeps telling me to find a nice girl to marry. Says it's high time I get hitched. It's completely dark and you're still talking. Finally, Thomas remembers that his parents are waiting for him. You get up from the table, leaving some dirty dishes and quite a few empty bottles behind. On your way out, you catch a glimpse of a nondescript figure following you to the door. As you walk alongside Thomas through your home neighborhood, you keep glancing over your shoulder. The shadow that was following you has disappeared. You reach your street and stop for a while in the semi-darkness between your family homes, just as you used to all those years ago. Hi, Brante. I hardly ever come to Anazat these days. My battalion is always on the march all over the province. But twins willing, we'll see each other again real soon. You advise your friend to safeguard his very life. Oh, safeguard his every life. Ah, damn it. Glad I bribed. Well, if I get another willpower one, I'm absolutely taking it. The newspaper case. Your first year at the prefecture has come to an end. You are not a young student anymore. You know now that a judge's trade means so much more than knowing the law and carrying it out. Resolving a litigation of any importance requires striking a balance between the code of law, high society's opinion, and the whims of the provincial powers that be. Your second year is beginning, and it feels much tougher already. Trampled by the nobles, the commoners seek help, and so they turn to the law. They turn to you. The carriage takes you through the silver district of Anazat. It is early morning, and you have just received a letter bearing the seal of the city hall. Remy Vermin, the magistrate of Magra himself, wishes to see you at once. The mere sight of the magistrate's invitation is enough to make you scowl. There is no doubt about your newest case regarding the Quorum Gazette, which may spell trouble for everyone involved. A provincial legislature, the Lesser Quorum governs the volume and distribution of taxes in Magra. After a new law created by the Emperor's own brother Cornelius Tempest several years ago, commoners of considerable wealth were granted representation in the Quorum on par with the nobility, thus forming the Lesser Quorum. Sorry, really need to wet my whistle after 10 minutes of talking. Now the representatives of the lowly estate have founded a newspaper of their own, and this Quorum Gazette, distributed all across Anazat, fervently argues for commoners' rights in the provincial governance. The man behind the newspaper is Meyer Egmont, a well-off industrialist and owner of several silver mines, and it was his article and his demands that brought about this litigation. You take out a newspaper and read Egmont's article printed within. It addresses Imperial Overseer Gaius Tempest directly. Pardon me. We demand that Sir Overseer Gaius Tempest cease his habitual disregard for our meetings. From our Emperor Uther II, we received the lawful right to assemble and sit in the Lesser Quorum, and we say to the Overseer, our voice must be heard. Our message must be accepted. The carriage stops in a square by a luxurious building. This is the City Hall, where Imperial officials manage all domestic and economic matters of Anazat. You are escorted up a long, winding staircase to the door of the magistrate's office. You now stand before Remy Vermin. The magistrate maintains a haughty bearing in spite of his venerable age. His face bears the sharp, proud features so common among the old aristocracy. Ah, yes, Sir Judge. You are from the Brante family, I believe? I appreciate your prompt arrival. I'd rather not waste your time and get right down to business. The matter for which I called you here is urgent indeed, and what on earth? Oh. Empty box got knocked over. You are judging a case against that newspaper by the Lesser Quorum, are you not? I've had a torrent of complaints against it from those venerable members of the Quorum. They say Meyer Egmont has insulted Gaius Tempest, our overseer and an archdeacon from the Emperor's own great dynasty, and I say they're absolutely right. The Empire gave those uppity commoners a hand in managing the province's very well-being, which is already a violation of their lowly lot. But no, that wasn't enough for them, it seems. You've earned the mantle only recently, Sir Brante, but you must realize that this is an affront to the honor of the entire nobility. I expect you to do your duty as a judge and immediately find a pretext for shutting down their pathetic gazette. Elbow, your prefect, might think otherwise. However, Sir Brante, if you exercise enough wisdom and cunning, I am certain you will realize which position is most beneficial to you. With your youth and potential, it'll do you good to have powerful friends on your side. I'm sure you will reach the only appropriate and just verdict when closing this case, and I hope you will be duly judicious. For now, farewell. He couldn't have just come to the office. Yeah, he wouldn't lower himself to come to me. You return to the prefecture lost in thought. Sir Vermin is right. Your word is all that will take to shut the Lesser Quorum newspaper down. As a judge and a nobleman, you do not even need a reason. The people running the Gazette are mere commoners, no matter how wealthy they might be. There was no breach of law, however. Meyer Egmont's article simply requested that the Overseer of Magra hear what the Lesser Quorum has to say. You can reject the nobility's complaints and thus show the commoners they may rely on the prefecture's justice, but Sir Elm Furman and many fellow judges will be outraged. Father learns that the case has been assigned to you. He visits you and offers some advice. You're in quite a predicament now, son. If you try to appease one party, the other will be furious. Would you rather see if there's any way to make peace between them? We could host a party at our estate and invite both Meyer Egmont and the noble elders from the quorum. If you are successful at diffusing their quarrel, no one would object if you decide to legitimize the Quorum Gazette. Even Alverman won't be against it if the nobles stop complaining. However, Father is not your only visitor of note that day. Shortly after the road closes behind him, the familiar face of Judge Carlo Falkgraven appears in your office. He looks around cautiously before speaking his mind. You've been ordered to deal with that newspaper run by wealthy commoners. It's a complicated case indeed. If you ask me, work like that deserves to be rewarded. Why not make the most of it? You're quite close with Prefect Elborn, are you not? Almost related, as it were. What if you were to shut down the paper and seize the printing press? All it would take is Sir Prefect's signature. And my friend among the Quorum nobles, why, they could use a gazette of their own. I would be delighted to help you put that printing press in good hands. Just think of it. You would shut down a subversive periodical and help our esteemed nobles spread their message, all while earning a lucrative reward for your efforts. It's quite a coup, really. Everyone wins. Do think on it, Brante. He leaves, and you are left alone in your office to deliberate. If you decide to shut down the Gazette, how far should you go? And if you choose to legitimize the periodical, how will you go about it? Definitely legitimize. Especially because, hey, if I can get them on the same page, why not? You spend several days scheduling audiences, exchanging greetings, and presenting invitations to the senior nobles of Anazat. You have to pull all the strings you have and muster all your knowledge of Anazat high society, to say nothing of the family funds you spend throwing a suitable party for such esteemed guests. After much effort, both the nobles and the commoners from the Lesser Quorum have gathered together at your family estate at last. Meyer Egmont, owner of the Quorum Gazette, has accepted your invitation as well. The nobles are clearly vexed at having to tolerate the commoners' presence, yet they maintain the decorum etiquette demands. You tactfully take advantage of this situation to begin a negotiation. You inform the esteemed gathering that you are the judge handling the case of the Quorum Gazette. In your opinion, a periodical for the legislature is a most useful initiative. But only if the entirety of the Lesser Quorum shows support for the Quorum Gazette, and only if the Gazette represents the opinions of all its members, including commoners and nobles alike. Your words are met with a flurry of resentful, shouting, disputing voices. People start to argue. Sometime later, the Gazette owner, Meyer Egmont, takes his turn to speak. He looks almost like a nobleman. Egmont is well-groomed and wears expensive clothing only a wealthy industrialist could afford. Nevertheless, his rough manner of speaking and boorish posture betray his humble origins. I do say there's some truth in what you're saying, Sir Brante. We didn't begin this Gazette without asking the nobles sirs for their opinion. Still, if they let us have our articles printed, I suppose I'll agree to publish their opinions as well. This leads to another further debate. Some nobles reject sharing a periodical with the lowborn, while the more obstinate commoners of the Quorum insist they already have the right to publish the Gazette on their own. It takes you no small amount of time and negotiation to bring both sides to an agreement. It's settled then. As the owner of the Quorum Gazette, I pronounce it the official and legitimate newsletter of the Lesser Quorum, and the noble sirs are invited to publish their articles on the state of affairs in our province. Industrialists and merchants surround you and shower you with praise as a skillful negotiator. Tonight, you defended more than a newspaper. You stood up for the entire common estate of the province. Father keeps his distance for most of the party, but once matters are settled, he pats you on the shoulder. Excellent work, son. You chose the path of justice while staying on the good side with the powerful nobility. Even Magistrate Elverman won't hold this against you. Your career at the prefecture will surely flourish. Let's just hope your notoriety as a protector of the common folk won't harm you in the future. The night is over. One by one, the esteemed guests leave the Brante estate, the family home you know so well. You never thought the affairs of the entire province would be one day decided within these familiar walls? Oh yeah, I finally got out of... Oh no, I've been out of dangerous position. Well, commoners are protected. Okay, that's where I want to kind of hover. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. Protector of the people. The Call of the Ancestors. Today is a big day for the Brante family. Let's see here. Here we are. The day your family line started. The day when you remember all your ancestors. Tonight, everyone who bears the name Brante must ascend to the family crypt to keep vigil by the tombs. This is the time to surrender yourself to your ancestors and hear their will. Oh, god damn it, grandmother. The entire family prepares for the event in silence. Stefan has been choosing his apparel since morning, praying anxiously under his breath all the while. There is a special place in the family vigil. Even Mother is planning to go with you, though Father tries to talk her out of it. Lydia, I beg of you, stay home. You're far too weak for an all-night vigil in the crypt. Gloria, would you be so kind as to stay with your mother since you cannot join us anyway? Gloria answers in a muffled voice. As you wish, Sir Robert. The late Sir Gregor would only be enraged to see Mother there. We all remember how their last encounter ended. Father nods curtly, avoiding Gloria's gaze. But at that moment, your attention is drawn to a noise in the foyer. Nathan staggers through the door, stumbling over his own feet. He reeks of cheap wine and filth. I'm not, late, am I? Everyone gives him at him in consternation. Nathan almost falls into Mother's and Gloria's arms. Distressed, they fuss over him. Stefan eyes his youngest brother coldly. I expected nothing more of you, Nathan. Why even speak of duty to your family when you can't even manage to live by the commoner's lot? Go lie down in the pantry and stay out of our sight. Father, Stuart, it's time. Let's go. Alongside Father and Stefan, you descended to the family crypt. You cannot help but remember paying your last respects to your grandfather 9 years ago. You light the lamps. Dim, eerie flames illuminate the shrine. In the middle of it stands a magnificent stone tomb containing the long-decayed remains of Gregor Brante. You take your places around the crypt and kneel. The all-night vigil has begun. At first, your ancestors remain silent. Each of you is left with their own thoughts. Then a low murmur passes around you. The shadows in the corners of the room deepen. The voices grow stronger. You know that the ancestors of Gregor Brante, long-forgotten commoners whom you never knew, are trying to talk to you. But now a memory of them has come to life in the darkness of the crypt. They are pleading for something, demanding it of you, calling out to you, screaming. Finally, you all hear that painfully familiar, deep, imperious voice echo from the far end of the chamber. It's been a long time since I've seen you all. I hope you bear good tidings. All this time, I've been waiting for you to fulfill my mission. Remember, as long as I am in your blood, I will give you no peace. I did not have my family ennobled just to see our line cut short. Our blood tide must join the grand flow of the Empire, and then each of my descendants will inherit nobility forever and ever. But I do not see any of you before my tomb. Where are you hiding? Where is the head of our family, the man who will speak to me? Where is the man who will heed my will? Father rises from his knees and makes his way towards grandfather's stone tomb, the source of the booming voice. But Stefan suddenly pushes him out of the way. Father takes an indignant step forward, but Stefan firmly bars the way. Stop it, Stefan. You are my heir, but you are not head of this family. Father, it is not you that Sir Gregor is addressing. Earning the nobility of the sword is my duty to. He has long forsaken any hope of seeing you achieve it. You must understand that I am the one who will fulfill that duty. Stefan does not let him pass. Father? Oh, god damn. Father breathes heavily in anger. You can all but feel the frantic beating of both their hearts resonating somewhere within you. Both your father and brother seem to have forgotten that you are here too. Even the restless voices of your ancestors have grown hushed, waiting for the outcome to this conversation. Oh, I am tempted. You know what? It's in keeping with my character to see stuff that maybe I shouldn't be seizing. While Stefan blocks your father's way, you step forward yourself. Now Now they are both trying to stop you, but you're already loudly addressing the spirit of Sir Gregor. Sir Stuart of the Brontes is the man who will speak to him. Well, well, look who we have here. It's Stuart himself, a recent nobleman of the mantle and a judge. I must admit, grandson, it has always been my belief that you would not be satisfied by the commoner's lot, even when it punished you for your escapades. But are you up to your old trick again? Do you truly imagine yourself to be the head of this family? What about my spineless son and his rightful heir, Stefan? Or are you planning to take his place? And look over your shoulder. Father has covered his face with his hands, flustered. Stefan is clenching his fists angrily, whispering something under his breath. Since you have been so bold to speak to me, you will hear my will, Stuart. Dead though I may be, my will still lives, and you are all the embodiment of it in the realm. And you all are the embodiment of it in the realm of the living. Earning the nobility of the sword is the great cause of anyone who bears the name of Brante. Your duty by blood is to earn us a place in eternity, just as it is my duty to look out for you from even beyond the grave. Your father's follies have become a veritable threat, and I must help you overcome it. You still cater to those foundlings, Lydia and Gloria, risking a permanent blemish upon the Brante name. My name! You are but a step away from leading our family to shame and ruin. Your grandfather's authoritative speech is suddenly interrupted by your father. No, father, this is impossible. Even if I must defy your will, I am responsible for Gloria. My honor and my conscience will not allow me to do what you demand. You must accept this or keep on fighting me for all eternity. It is not to you that I am speaking, Stuart. Take the family cause into your hands. Do not take after your father. Do not shy away from taking responsibility for your actions. Do what must be done. Cleanse our family of wickedness. I want to tell you to fuck off myself. You don't have time to respond. Stefan's strong arm holds you to one side. But when your elder brother addresses grandfather instead of you, he is shaking. Sir Gregor, Stuart must be out of his mind. I am the heir here. I am ready to heed your will. You have heard of Stefan, and do not let anyone usurp your rightful place again. Otherwise you will lose your very birthright. Stefan answers his ancestor in a strained voice. I will do my duty by my family, Sir Gregor. Whatever the price, I will pay it. The crypt is completely silent once more. The spirit of Sir Gregor Brante is left. You are alone again. You see tears glistening on Stefan's face. Without a sound, he detaches himself from you and leaves the crypt. Your father casts Yeah, I should have sided with father. Yep. You are left in the semi-darkness, alone with the invisible spirits of the dead that follow your family everywhere, even from oblivion. Whatever the will of your deceased grandfather may be, you have proven before your ancestors that you have the right to hear it on behalf of the Brante family. The vigil is over. Holy shit! Did not expect the +3 to Valor, which might come in handy if I come to blows with Darius Otten. Sorry about that, had an ice cube. Just a few days into the year, Mayor Eggbot, chairman of the Lesser Quorum and owner of several silver mines, made a speech that caused quite a stir in the province. Though a commoner, Eggbot had the gall to demand that the Magran authorities both enforce and obey imperial law. What's the use of imperial laws if they are enforced as they should be? Even today, any Anazot nobleman who gets up on the wrong side of the bed can draw a sword and run a commoner through with impunity. These gentlemen may be our rulers, but does that mean they can defy the Emperor's will? Sir Alborn has been appointed to enforce the rule of law in Markville. How come the prefect doesn't see this? We commoners aren't trying to seize the noble lot and take over the province, but the rule of tradition is a thing of the past. This is the age of justice. We may not all be equal in his eyes, but even the nobles and clergy must obey the law. The Magran aristocracy is furious with Eggbot and demands that he be silenced. The rich industrialist has too much money and too many connections to be dealt with so easily. You hear more and more rumors about secret societies of commoners appearing in the city, plotting against noble rule. The gentry fears that Eggbot and his peers might be behind us, but they have no proof, at least for now. Father Leonard, abbot of the Temple of Silver Tree and leader of the New Believers, support Eggman and has spoken publicly in his favor. The twins themselves entrusted the noble estate with the right to rule over the common folk, but rulers must also care for their subjects. The old faith is mistaken. No commoner should ever be forced to suffer. It is for this very reason that the imperial law exists. It is there to ease the people's suffering. May those laws be duly enforced, and may they serve all the people of the Empire. It is another day at the prefecture. The secretary peeks into your office with a message from the prefect. There is a new case he wishes you to handle. You put your quill away and walk to Sir Alborn's office. To your surprise, he happens to have another visitor already. There is a graceful figure sitting across from your immediate superior. None other than Octavia Methanidas. After all the times you have met her in the capital, you expected the Archduke's daughter to be brilliantly, lavishly dressed, but her appearance today is modest and formal, with a high-necked dress and a strict bun. However, her demure attire only serves to emphasize her role as a distinguished visitor to the prefecture. You bow to the prefect and the noble Arcadian lady. Octavia offers you a curt greeting, then returns to the conversation you have interrupted. This matter can brook no delay, Baron Alborn. The young judge may well wait outside. Nonetheless, Sir Alborn insists that you come in and take a seat. Worry not, Brante. You aren't interrupting anything at all. Lady Melanidas, I was scheduled to meet with Sir Brante at this very hour. I regret to inform you that your visit was perhaps somewhat unfortunately timed. Octavia rises from the soft, high-backed chair. The Arcane lady now stands tall, elegant, and indignant. You are out of line, Sir Alborn. Archduke Melanidas has graced you with a representative from his dynasty, and you will listen to what I have to say this instant. The Archduke has expressed concern over your manner of governance at the prefecture. You have always been headstrong and eager to infringe upon the freedoms of your own noble estate. But now it appears you find it acceptable to conduct proceedings against our own loyal subjects. Our dynasty has already seen many loyal nobles of the sword arrested or faced with punishment in court. Where will this lead? Do you mean to enforce your lowly laws against us Ocnians? Do not forget that those laws were written to keep low-born humans in check. Our lives have always been governed by noble honor and tradition, as well as the blood tide that is our heritage. Our only justice is the court of honor. The only rule above us is that of the sovereign, the emperor, and the twins. Of our sovereign, the emperor, and the twins. Our only duty is to our kin and our forefathers. My ancestor, Charmelanidas himself, granted the boon of nobility to you humans. It would be most unwise of you to make me regret his decision of old. In the name of Archduke Melanidas, I demand that you end any and all proceedings against our subjects at once. Sir Alborn acknowledges Lady Octavia's vehement speech with a calm smile, and nothing else. He shows no trepidation, no tremor, nor fear, even though the lady across from him represents one of the Empire's mightiest dynasties. Lady Melanidas, the twins have graced the blessed Arcanian lineage with the boon of long life, yet the world can be quick to change at times. The laws of the Empire now govern the nobles of the mantle and even the nobles of the sword, along with the common estate. This particular change is not as recent as it might seem. The laws of the Empire are the decrees of the Emperor himself, the twins' chosen supreme sovereign. His laws are his will, which is, as you said yourself, the only rule above us, and that means all of us, from a highborn Arcanian to the lowliest commoner. Presently, the Emperor's representative in our province is Overseer Gaius Tempest. Like this prefecture in its entirety, I am simply obeying the Overseer's will and the laws of the Empire. Then pray tell me, Baron Alborn, who is your sovereign and protector? He is none other than my father, Archduke Melanidas. You swore him an oath of fealty and vassalage. It is your duty to follow his word and will. Or do you wish for the Archduke himself to address you directly? I tell you, cease this harassment of our loyal noble subjects at once. I will not leave until this order is carried out. Why, Lady Melanidas, I am afraid this is quite impossible. As a servant of the Empire and Imperial Overseer Gaius Tempest, it is my duty to enforce the law. Now, if you'll excuse me, Sir Brante and I have urgent matters to discuss. The gaze of the Archduke's daughter is locked with the prefects in a silent struggle. Each expects the other to back down first. But then Octavia suddenly turns towards you. But I believe the young judge is more in him than blind disobedience. Surely you were able to distinguish a rightful claimant from a threat to the province, are you not? Silence resounds within the prefect's office. Awesome! They are both waiting for you to speak. Ha ha ha, yes! Diffusal because of connections. You may have Lady Octavia's attention now. You have Lady Octavia's attention now. She may not have shown it in Sir Elborn's presence, but she remembers you from the capital quite well. Skillfully, you take advantage of this connection to reduce the tension. You start by reaffirming her position. Truly, the Archduke has every right to look after his noble subjects. You would never expect an ancient dynasty to abandon the loyal nobles to their fate. Having said that, you shower the Archduke and his noble dynasty with praise, including his brilliant progeny who has deigned to grace the prefect's office with a visit. You casually mention your encounter with the Lady Octavia at the fencing tournament in Eterna. I have to admit, Brante, for a human you fought valiantly indeed. I've witnessed some of the best Arcanian swordmasters at work, and yet your fighting piqued my curiosity. There is a look of relief on Sir Elborn's face as he watches you converse. Still, you return to Octavia's demands. After all, she did not come here for small talk. The Archduke's words carried great weight, but sadly Sir Elborn has no power to decide the matter. After all, he is but a humble servant to the Emperor. Perhaps it would be more prudent to take this matter to Emperor's overseer, Gaius Tempest, who is also an Arcanian of noble lineage. Just like a moment ago, Octavia winces at the mention of Gaius Tempest. The Emperor's brother took away her noble family's right to represent the imperial authority in the province of Magra. Still, the Arcanian lady considers your words well before speaking again. To a certain extent, you were right, Steward Brante. I cannot help but admit it. We Arcanians ought to avoid involving humans in matters of supreme authority. It is still my wish and intention that Sir Elborn present us with an answer, but if he absolutely must learn the will of Gaius Tempest beforehand, then so be it. But do not tarry too long with your answer, or you risk angering my father. Octavia rises elegantly from her seat. Before she leaves the prefect's office, her eyes rest on you for a moment. She bends her eyes charmingly and addresses you with a gentle smile, and then she is gone. Elborn pats you on the shoulder, content with the outcome of the interview. Unbelievable! I never expected you to be acquainted with Octavia Melanidas. My thanks, Brante. You bought me some time. If you hadn't intervened just now, I'd have had to defy the law and end all cases against nobles who served the Archduke. We'll see what the Overseer says about this now. Archduke Melanidas is testing the prefecture with his daughter. Otherwise, he'd have asked me to visit his palace personally. He's showing caution, which means we still stand strong, at least for now. We will continue our service to the law without regard for the outmoded ways of the past. But I digress. This is high politics, and the prefecture still has plenty of cases to resolve, but let's get back to work, shall we? With that, Elborn hands you a new case file. You thank the Baron and head back to your office to study it properly. It's time to get back to work. Yeah, I kind of figured that would take some willpower. Let's go. I was hoping for Octavia's esteem to rise a little bit. Yeah, I haven't met him at all, and where's Octavia? The repercussions of your most recent encounter... Oh, shit! The repercussions of your most recent encounter with the Archduke's daughter, Octavia, soon manifest themselves. A letter bearing the seal of the great dynasty of Melanidas arrives the next day. Inside the envelope, you find an invitation to Castle Serpenverda, the Archduke's residence. Visiting the Archduke of Magra himself is a great honor. To decline such an invitation would be an insult of colossal magnitude. You immediately purchase a new doublet in the latest fashion and ask Father to lend you a precious family brooch. It depicts the Brante family crest, and the leaves on the oak branch are made of tiny emeralds. Octavia should find it to her liking. Your family cannot help but notice your preparations. Mother watches nervous as you make sure everything is ready for your journey. The sudden invitation has me worried, my son. Be careful in the Archduke's castle. You're still of low-born origin. Arcanian attention spells danger to people like us every time. Remember not to displease them, or the Melanidases will grind our family into dust. Come early morning, the carriage takes you away from the border walls of Amazot. It takes you a full day to reach Serpenverda along the dusty, sun-scorched high road. While on the road, you read notes on Arcanian traditions and rules of etiquette again and again. To preserve your family's honor, you must make the best possible impression. The provincial powers that be will be watching your every step, and so will Octavia with her cunning grin. Only as the sun is about to set do you manage to spot the dark, colossal shape of Castle Superverda, a towering fortification of jet-black stone spread across a peak looming over the bed of a long-gone river. The carriage climbs the narrow serpentine road to the castle gate. Soldiers of the Archduke's Guard approach you, and you present them with the invitation. The guards eye you with suspicion, but give the signal to open the gate. You are now inside the walls of the Archduke's castle. You were expected to see many carriages of other guests beyond the gate, but the courtyard is strangely empty. The guards show you to a servant who guides you to a room reserved for guests and leaves you there to wait. The servant soon returns, and you follow him through the dimly lit corridors of Superverda, lavishly adorned with silver, emeralds, and weapons of war. The castle is silent. There is no noise, no music. It seems completely uninhabited. The sound of your footsteps is smothered by the soft velvet beneath your feet. The servant stops in front of a pair of massive doors made of black wood. This is your destination, he gestures silently. You enter an enormous room, its walls covered in portraits and ancestral relics. In the very center of the room is a towering throne carved of black wood. On the throne you see the delicate silhouette of Octavia Melanides, clad in a black velvet dress embroidered in silver. With a commanding gesture, the Archnean lady bids you approach. You're here at last. Are you surprised, Stuart? How odd. You didn't think my father would actually summon you to an Archnean castle, did you? Or are you truly that naive? How sweet of you. No, it was I who summoned you here. You are alone in the castle. Portraits cover the walls. Portraits of Archneans with dark eyes and jet-black hair. They all resemble birds of prey, and their eyes seem to watch you with contempt that makes you uneasy. Allow me to introduce you to my family. Family? This is a human by the name of Brante. What do you think of him, Father? She casts a defiant glance at the portrait of the Archduke Melanides. Then she removes a glove from her hand and casts it as well. It hits the great Archduke right in the nose. Octavia laughs at that, and the tall walls and the innumerable portraits echo her voice. Baffled, you ask Lady Melanides why she has summoned you. Because you have caught my attention. I noticed you even when you were somewhat younger than you are now. And then I started seeing you again and again. I caught myself thinking about you quite often, and so I've decided that I wish to possess you. You will become my companion. Other humans will envy you, but no one will dare to cross you. My name will open any door you like. In return, you will satisfy my every whim, and I will deal with you as I please. I have mixed feelings about this one. Octavia rises from the throne, the hem of her dress lifting up to reveal her elegant, slender length. You know the history of this throne, yes? My ancestor, Charles Melanides, used to sit here during the rebellion of Magra. Can you imagine that? Charles Melanides made decisions that transformed the entire empire, all from this very seat. Now it's gathering dust in this vainglorious art gallery of my father's. Now come to me, my human. Octavia waits for you to do her bidding. One does not argue with an Archnean. Since the dawn of the Empire, they have taken whatever they wanted. If you refuse Octavia, daughter of the Archduke of Magra, you will insult her greatly. If you submit to this Archnean woman, if you become her plaything, everyone will know you are in the good graces of Lady Melanides herself. As a human, what more could you possibly dream of? You recall your chance encounters with her, from the days of your youth to more recent times. What are your feelings for this exceptional Archnean lady, and what does she truly want from you? If you are willing to enter into a perilous romance with Octavia, perhaps you could do it on your own terms, returning her affections while keeping your honor. Would she defy all the traditions of old for you and recognize you as her equal, even if only in secret? Absolutely equals. Probably willpower. Oh, okay. Octavia arches her back on her father's throne and waits for you. Holy crap, her slender hand beckoning you closer. Equals it is. You give Octavia your answer, looking her straight in the eye. Soulmate. Interesting. You have been in love with her ever since you were young, enchanted by her beauty and grace, every chance encounter a treasured memory. And you know that this feeling is mutual. To you, there is no greater honor than Lady Octavia's affection. But You cannot sacrifice your honor as a nobleman for the sake of this love. You do not mean this as an insult. On the contrary, Lady Melanidas is far superior to you, it is true. Yet you two are of the noble estate, and you cannot accept humiliation, even if you must face the full extent of the Melanidas' ire. You will reciprocate Octavia's affection, not as an obedient plaything, but as a man and a noble. Your impassioned speech ends, and you steel yourself to face her wrath. But to your surprise, Octavia seems lost in thought, her eyes downcast. Nobody denies me. I'm not used to this. You are a remarkable human indeed, Stuart Brante. I have noticed this ever since we first met. Your words echo in my heart. You do not follow the usual rules. Any other man would have been groveling at my feet by now. Perhaps you can make my escape from this stifling, sickening world. So be it. I choose a human as my lover, and I care little for what the aristocracy of this twins-forsaken province has to say about it. I'll take this as far as I like. But you will be safer if our affair remains a secret to the world. Now come to me, my sweet human. You draw closer to Octavia on the throne. She reaches out to your face, caressing it gently and carefully, as though touching a human for the first time. A moment passes, and suddenly her arms wrap around your neck and her legs lock around your torso, and she pulls you closer to her with all her might. You do not resist the Archdeacon's assault. Her embrace leads you to the throne. So how do you like the seat of the great charm of Melanidas? Just a piece of wood, don't you agree? Uncomfortable, too, but luckily it's spacious enough for the two of us. Damn! Octavia's ravenous lips find yours as your hands free you from your fashionable attire, your entire body shivering with excitement. You caress her skin, tender and azure. You commit her to memory, studying her, trying to understand her. Octavia's eyes are dark as the starless sky, sparkling with delight from your sweet transgression. But why does she seek this pleasure with you? Why would she humiliate her ancestors and her very dynasty by having an affair with a human? Seeing you preoccupied, Octavia gently pulls your head up by the chin. She kisses you passionately. Her lips start moving down your half-naked body. Her inhuman passion swallows you and overtakes you, until the vast throne of the Melanidas dynasty echoes with the last of her ecstatic moments. Then there is silence, save for the sounds of your heavy breathing. Octavia caresses your back slowly, then playfully pushes you off the throne. The Archdeacons watch you from the portress, their faces as passionate as ever. Octavia returns to you at dawn, now wearing a modest black dress, her hair in a formal bun. It is time for you to leave, Stuart. The Archduke will return to the castle soon. I'll visit Anna's out now and again. So far as stays there belong to me. We will be there, safe from prying eyes. You leave Sir Bernardo with your head spinning and your heart racing. The day it takes to return to Anazat passes like a single moment. When your family asks you about your visit to the Archduke, you evade the question. From that day forth, your heart aches sweetly, yearning for Octavia's letters, and when it is time for a brief tryst, the two of you disappear to one of her estates and give in to your secret passion. There are days when your love and your lover seem but an illusion, something gone forever. But soon another note arrives, and the affair continues, only to be cut again for an unknown time. You have stolen the heart of the most beautiful and high-born Archdeacon lady of Magra. Only one maddening thought casts a shadow on your love. What will be your price for this insolence? Yeah, I figured that much. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting end. Got a feeling that the one Archdeacon might challenge me. Your home has been much more peaceful for the last year. The fights between Stefan and Gloria are not as fierce now. But how long will that last? Your job takes up all your time. You see your parents and siblings less and less often. Sometimes you don't even know what they are doing while you deal with the constant stream of duties. This morning you head out on an urgent business. You take one step out of the gate and run into a uniformed gendarme. Stuart Brante, your presence is requested at the prefecture dungeon. Taken aback, you ask what this is about. You have your brothers Stefan and Nathan Brante in a cell. They were arrested last night at the Steiner's Inn. They asked us to send for you. The cells in the prefecture dungeon are cold and damp. The guards lead you to the bars, and behind them you see Nathan huddled in the corner. Your younger brother is unshaven, more disheveled than usual, and reeking of wine and filth. Near the cell, you see Stefan grimly sitting in a chair. You guess that the gendarmes thought it best not to put him in the same cell as his low-born brother. Upon seeing you, Nathan lets out a whimper, and Stefan cracks a bitter smile. The sheath on your brother's belt is empty. There you are at last, Stuart. Have a look at our younger brother. Yesterday he got drunk in the company of some dubious fellows. They were commoners, yet they dared to surrender to pleasure. They started a brawl, wrecked the inn, and harassed the waitresses. As soon as I heard, I rushed to save this drunkard from shame. Nathan cowers in the corner, horror-struck. I walked in and demanded that Nathan come with me, but his cronies wouldn't let him go. That's not true! You just grabbed me by the collar and dragged me after you. You nearly suffocated me. Shut your mouth, cur. So, brother, they seem to have some sort of sect. They all shouted defamations against the twin gods, and one of them grabbed me by the arm. I was forced to skewer this heretic with my sword. I hope a lesser death will teach him never to lay his filthy paws on a nobleman. He was just trying to talk to you, Stefan. Silence! Then the gendarmes barged in, and here we are. I have been accused of an unlawful murder. Apparently the new laws allow killing a commoner only if he attacks first or wields a weapon. They say that in the event of an insult, I'm supposed to file a complaint with the prefecture. So now they're going to seize my sword for a whole year. What a shame. And it's all your fault, Nathan. Stefan gives the bars a furious kick. Nathan covers his face with his hands in despair. Stuart, my brother, you are our only hope. Give me my sword back. And get us out of here, and fast. We have to bury this sordid affair as deep as we can before anyone finds out. Save our family from shame. Yeah, I'm able to. Because it'll hit my career, but the family will keep its reputation. You command the gendarmes to give the nobleman Stefan Brante his sword back at once. He has not broken any law and must be freed. As for Nathan Brante, you will personally cover the damages the inn has sustained. There is no reason to keep the son of a noble family behind bars. But, Your Honor, Sir Stefan ran that man through right before our eyes. The law says... You glare furiously at the captain. That commoner, a heretic no less, dared to assault a newborn nobleman and grab his arm. Or does Leonard claim to know the law better than Judge Brante? Remembering his position, the gendarme nods obediently and returns Stefan's confiscated sword. I knew I could count on you, Stuart. You aren't just my brother, after all, but also a nobleman yourself. You know that honor is always paramount. Stefan sheathed the sword reverently as Nathan was led out of the cell. The elder brother takes the younger by the scruff of his neck and pulls him to the door. Nathan staggers and shuffles along limply. You manage to conceal the disgraceful occurrence from all of your relatives, with the exception of Sir O'Bor. The prefect is very displeased with your abuse of power, but needless to say, he does not order his nephew Stefan to be returned to his cell. Back home, Stefan starts lecturing Nathan. From now on, there will be no more drinking bouts or other nocturnal exploits. Who are those rogues you befriended anyway? Stop shaming this family. If you're so worthless, at least let others go about their business in peace. Do you understand, you blockhead? Nathan remains silent, staring despondently somewhere above him. Okay, so acceptable. I think my career's taking a hit or no? Okay, justice took it, but not my career. Your most recent year of service at the prefecture has seen an increase in litigation on crimes against the church. More and more people are joining the ranks of the new faith in Arizot. The movement began with destitute beggars who had nothing to lose, but for years now, many well-off commoners and new nobles have been joining the fold. People say the leader of the new faith in Arizot is Father Leonard, the abbot of the Temple of the Silver Tree. The city's leaders would love to expel him, but he's too highly regarded by the common folk. Complaints and cases of defiance of one's lot keep pouring in. Every day, somebody is reported by their neighbors for heresy. Sorry about that. Need to pick something up. However, you and many commoners, adherents of the old faith, fear that such flagrant defiance of the laws will usher in the prophesied wrath of the gods. However, you and the other judges have no choice but to reject most of these cases. As a secular institution, the prefecture has no authority when it comes to crimes against faith. Only the Church and the Inquisition have any say here. In the middle of another busy day at the prefecture office, the door suddenly swings open. A tall gendarme wearing an officer's uniform walks in. He takes off his helmet, adjusts his short, fair hair, and bows to you hastily. Captain Linod reporting, Your Honor. My boys finally caught Father Mark, the dreaded apostate heretic. The prefect told us to take him to you for judgment. Boys, bring him in. The two gendarmes bring in a short, stout man wearing a worn, bearded priest's cassock. Priests wear the sacred symbol of the twins, a cross within a circle, but this man does not. Forced to sit before you, this odd-looking priest is nonetheless strangely undisturbed by his arrest. His eyes, curious and glimmering with life, study you intently. This is him, Father Mark in the flesh. We caught him trying to preach that teaching of his, smack in the middle of a drinking hole for the lowborn of the Grey District. Some guy took offense and called for the gendarmes, and we got there right away. Father Mark, you've heard the name ever since you were a child. His cult of rejection of the twins has expanded tenfold over the past several years, with nobles, commoners, and even other priests joining his flock. The Inquisition has hunted this heretical apostate for years, but Father Mark has always eluded capture. Until now. Some say he has powerful protectors. Here are statements from people at the establishment, Your Honor. You flip through pages of handwritten statements. Father Mark isn't just preaching. He is openly defying not only the lots, but even the twins themselves. Father Mark teaches that the gods have neither design nor purpose for us, so we are under no obligation to serve them or prepare our souls for the hereafter. You put the papers away, ready to question the profane priest. What was the subject of his sermons? What was he trying to convince his listeners to do? Father Mark prefaces his answer with a dazzling smile. As a judge, it is your duty to enforce secular law. You know as well as I do that I have broken no such law. I am a priest, my friend, and in the Empire, priests are allowed to preach. I was preaching the proper way to live one's worldly life, for this is the only existence we have. I told my listeners not to waste their lives serving those gods. The twins surely love us, but alas, their love violates us as much as their law. This entire world is proof of that. I see my words upset you, but I'm afraid you can't judge me guilty for that. Here's why. You see, mine is the priestly lot, if the judgment of the Church is to be trusted, which means that only the Inquisition Tribunal may find me guilty. So you could hand me over to those black-clad thugs, but alas, you will get absolutely nothing in return. The Inquisition wants to light their pyres in every corner of Anazot, and all they need for that is me. As soon as they get me, the Inquisitors will tell the Prefecture to step aside and start enforcing the law themselves. Is that what you want, my friend? So what are you to do with me? Well, let's think about it. As a secular judge, you can't judge me guilty, but giving me to the Inquisition will weaken the Prefecture. And so, my friend, everybody will be better off if you just set me free. Trust an old philosopher. It's better for me, better for your prefect, and better for you as well. Surprisingly, the gendarme captain smiles, knowingly at these words. He leans over and whispers a few words into your ear. You cannot help but notice the scars all over his neck. I say the old heretic's right, Your Honor. If he's still got the priestly lot, he's the Inquisition's problem. It's too dangerous for the prefecture to meddle in churchly affairs. And strictly between you and me, if the reports I've been getting are to be trusted, this here Mark's been rubbing elbows with Patriarch Cassius himself. Letting him go might get us on his good side. And Sir Patriarch's a very wealthy man. But suddenly the captain's voice trails off as the door to your office opens without warning. There's a young woman at the door, clothed in a black cassock and bearing the telltale silver seal of the Inquisition. I am Sister Jean, Your Honor. I serve the Order of the Inquisition. That stern face, those piercing brown eyes, they seem somehow familiar. Of course. This is the young acolyte girl from the Temple of the Silver Tree, the one you saw during that school visit. She's an Inquisitor now. Your men did well to track down and arrest Father Mark. Splendid! We've been hunting this false preacher for a long time. As I'm sure you know, priests may not be judged by secular laws, Your Honor. Mark has denigrated the twins and called for the people to reject them. He has broken his sacred vows and defied his lot. He will face the tribunal of the Inquisition for his transgressions. The man before you is a great threat to the people of Anazot, Judge Brante. His words lead people astray. His speeches doom them to eternal suffering at the foot of the pillar. Only the Church knows the way to end this heresy. You will hand Father Mark over to me at once. Ooh, there's a good one. Sister Jean remains in the doorway, wordlessly refusing to leave the prefecture without the captured heretic. Oh, sorry about that. Hi, Winker. Yeah, I don't have scheming, so nope. The gendarmes at the captain stand still, waiting your orders. Father Mark is lounging in the chair, enjoying himself and eyeing you curiously, waiting for your decision on this contentious situation. Yep. I'm gonna split the baby. For a while, you consider your options. Opposing the Inquisition means making a powerful enemy, for yourself and the prefecture alike. However, taking part in the tribunal trial as a prosecutor will surely give your career a shot in the arm. Besides, you're well versed enough in theological matters to hold your own during an Inquisition tribunal. And so you tell Jean that you will hand over Father Mark to the Inquisition, but on one condition. You must be allowed to make a speech for the prosecution, for the earthly laws do reflect the divine law, and their unity is the truth of truths. I see you cannot wait to demonstrate your theological knowledge. I can still recall how we met, 2 children at the Silver Tree. But I digress. A judge from the prefecture speaking at a holy tribunal behind closed doors. Ordinarily this is forbidden, but Father Mark is anything but ordinary. He leads souls astray and seeks to erode the very foundation of the Empire. I think the tribunal will allow you this speech. The church trial takes months to prepare. The high-profile case of Father Mark brings many priests from all over the Empire to a massive, chilly old temple at the edge of the city. Father Mark stands still and calm, his arms folded across his chest, waiting for the prosecution's closing argument. As the main prosecutor for the trial, Sister Jean lists every confirmed case of Father Mark openly preaching against the twins, against their worship, and against any restraint and moderation in mortal life. Her voice rings with fury. Then it is finally time for your speech. And 1 second, I really need to wet my whistle here. And wow, coming up on 2 hours already. Aside from heresy, you also accuse Father Mark of inciting a rebellion against the Emperor's rule. In his sermons, Mark told people to reject the twins, but the Tempest dynasty was chosen to rule by the twins themselves. Therefore, his call to reject the twins is an act of rebellion against the Tempest dynasty and the Empire as a whole. You thus conclude that Father Mark is an insurgent and a traitor who deserves punishment both in this world and the hereafter. The priest shout in support of your speech. With the prefecture judge participating in the trial, the verdict against Brother Mark seems even more convincing. The trial is over. Father Mark is found guilty on all counts. Very well, my brothers. I hope your ambition has been duly satisfied and your authority duly enforced. But alas, every single one of you is still a puppet of the alien will of the gods. Somebody unceremoniously stuffs a gag in Father Mark's mouth to protect the gathering from his heretical notions. He is taken away to the dungeons of the Inquisition for his long overdue punishment. You soon received news reports. Interrogation and torture yielded the Inquisition the names of several of Father Mark's followers, all of whom were caught quickly. The pyres light up on the streets of Anazat. Imperial law has no power here, for judging heretics is the domain of the Inquisition. As Prophet Ezechiel teaches, the earthly must remain upon the earth, the heavenly in heaven. The prefecture's duty is to enforce the law upon the earth. The laws of heaven are beyond the scope of your authority. Oh, damn it. Your triumphant tribunal speech has earned you the respect of many prefecture judges. Some of them even begin turning to you for help with the finer points of the faith. Yeah, I fucked up on that one. Okay. 3. Okay, I'll do it in chunks of 3 years, I think. Justice greater than or equal to 5, and Remiel Vermin did not make a deal. And this is where we will stop for the time being. So I thank you all for joining me, and I will see you probably sometime on Friday. BB, claws, buddy. Claws, claws, claws. As I was saying, I will see you likely on Friday.